Hey, and welcome back to this next video. I'm really excited to share with you business foundational essentials, because we can't do business and we can't do successful business without these basics. So we're going to be diving into the purpose of your business, why your purpose exists. We're also going to be talking about your teams, and maybe you don't have a team yet, and that's okay. But understanding why teams fail and helping them to become more cohesive. The other part of this is you stepping into being a leader, because you are the owner of the business. You are the leader, whether you like it or not. And it's about you having real clarity around the purpose of the business so that you can lead a team and help them to come to an awesome outcome, and recognizing that sometimes businesses start without a purpose, and that's okay. They just start with the idea that they need to make money, or I don't want to work 9 to 5. That's an okay reason to start a business, but it's not a sustainable business model for long-term business sustainability. So let's dive into the business essentials. And one of the things that I find when I'm asking people about the purpose of their business or their why, they maybe don't know. They don't have clarity around that. And what I would like to encourage you today is to not get too caught up in having to know if you don't know. Because a lot of people are waiting for clarity to show up. And they're wishing, waiting, and hoping that one day it's going to magically dawn on them, that they're going to know their why and their purpose is going to be so clear. Because it seems like everyone else has got it clear, doesn't it? And to tell you the truth, it's not about that. It's about you starting somewhere. It's deciding what's important to you about why you're in business. And that's your purpose to start off with. And then you continue to refine it and you continue to develop yourself. And remember that the vision and the mission of a business, it can change, and the vision gets refined over time. But just like water that's murky, once you introduce movement, once you allow the water to flow, then it will get clear. And movement is the key here. Starting somewhere, pulling an idea from the sky and saying, yeah, this is my purpose, until I have a better one, is a way better approach than sitting there going, I don't know my purpose. What is my purpose? Because if you start to brainstorm, if you start to write things down of what could be your purpose, then you'll start to find that things are resonating. You'll start to find that you will have more meaning in your job, in your position as a business owner, because you've got more of a purpose. It's not just one day that it magically appears. It's you starting somewhere. So I trust that was a really important message for you to hear. And if you don't know your purpose yet, that's okay. We're going to find out along the way in this program. So one of the massive benefits of having your why really clear is that you want to have the whole team on board. And maybe you don't have a team, and that's okay. But in the future, as you build your business, you will. And they need to know why you started the business. They need to know why they want to work for you. And it's so interesting with teams as well, because quite often your mission, your vision for the business becomes their purpose. Because maybe they don't know what their purpose is. And people these days are really looking for that meaning within their job. I read some statistics recently that you can't pay anyone anymore to be happier, because everybody already has that standard of living. But when you give them meaning, when you give them purpose because you have such a strong why, that's when they'll stay. And it helps to reduce staff turnover. There's less stress because everyone's on the same page. And ultimately makes it a more enjoyable experience because you're all moving towards a common goal. And because you have this common goal, you can make decisions in line with it. And I'll give you an example, and I'm sure you know of businesses that don't have that strong purpose, that they did just start out to make money. Well, what happens is Jimmy does this thing, Juliet does this thing, and Bob does that thing. And they're all busy doing stuff, but it's not in line with a common goal, which means that there's lots of activity, but there's no productivity. And that is the function of a why, is to keep everyone productively moving towards that common goal so that everybody knows that they are part of something that is greater than themselves. And that's what we're truly seeking, is being on a mission, being with your friends, being able to have that family environment where everyone looks after each other because they've got common values. It's the new way to do business. As the business owner, you are adopting a team of humans that really care about you achieving your mission, and they're there on your side, ready to support you. Now, one of the businesses that I coach in town, they have a really clear why. And what happens is that because it's so clear, they've got it printed out on the walls, they've got it everywhere around their office. And people will say, they'll put up their hand and say, oh, my uncle does this, so maybe they can help us achieve that. Or I'm willing to work an extra night to be able to find out that information that we need for this. And one of the stories that I really love is about NASA. So there was a cleaner who was working really late at night. And there was an astronaut who was just about to go to the moon. And he noticed that this cleaner, this janitor, had a big smile on his face. And he went up to him and he said, "You're just a janitor here. How come you've got such a big smile on your face and you're here so late?" And he said, "I'm not just a janitor. I'm working to put a man on the moon." And that's a strong why. Everybody who works for NASA, they're trying to put someone on the moon, and it unites them. They're feverish to achieve that goal, and that is what creates a sustainable business. And to give you a contrast to this, when people don't have a sustainable vision, a common mission, then there creates ambiguity because everyone's just serving themselves. Everyone's just doing it the best way that they know how. And that creates uncertainty and it creates conflict. And if everyone's serving themselves, then they're not serving the team. And that is what ultimately destroys a business. And that's high staff turnover, that's a lot of money in retraining, and it definitely brings down the morale and creates a negative environment. So, pretty important, huh? To know your why. And I just invite you to take some time out to really think about your why. Because for me, I remember sitting on the beach in Rarotonga and I was reading Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why. And that helped me to understand that the reason why I came into business isn't about what I do, but it's about why I do it. And that's why you're all showing up here to do this program. Because I'm passionately on a mission to empower business owners to be better leaders and to teach you how to lead other leaders. And my personal why is to use my voice for change, is to shake up the status quo and help people step into their greatness so that they don't have to be with the crowd, that they can create the success that they desire and ultimately live their dream. And that's why I'm so passionate on this mission. It's because I have a really strong why that is driving me. And it's time that you brought that to the surface, that passion, because you're so driven by your why. And if you've already found your why, awesome. I love that. And if you haven't, we're going to start somewhere and we're going to grow and improve and refine. And by the end of this program, you will have your why and your purpose that's going to create that passion, love, and joy and synchronicity within your team, which is super exciting. I love the term unicornification. Unicornification is the differentiation strategy between you and your competitors. And nowadays, there's so many businesses, isn't there? It's almost like there's not that many things left unthought. You know, back in the day, you used to design something completely new and it revolutionized an industry. And now there are so many industries and so many people all around the world. And of course, you can find your own unique product. And of course, people are continuing to innovate. And it's important to recognize that it's okay to be doing the same thing as the people next door. And the thing that makes you different from them is your values, is your mission, and is your vision. The way I like to think about it is that there's 8.5 billion people in the planet. 8.5 billion blows my mind. And approximately there are 12 different personality types. Some would argue a few more, a few less. But we have 1/12 of that 8 million people who have common values to us. That's a lot of people. I'm not going to do the maths right now. But when you think about it in that way, that's your market. And you don't need to be like the people next door. You don't need to be like your competitors because they've got their own values and their own people. And we're not fighting for customers. We have an abundant mindset that there's an abundance of customers. There is one, I can't even work out what would be 1/12 of 8.5 billion. But you know, it's a lot of people that are available to you to be your market. So when you rock your values, when you have a really strong why, when you have a purpose, you know you are going to find and attract those people because you're shouting the message on the street. You're putting it on billboards. You're communicating it with your team. That is what's going to make your business successful, not just the doing of the things or the product that you create. I love this message and I'm really, really grateful to be sharing this with you. So, one of the points that I had is a lot of the time people are concerned with things that don't matter when they start out in business, or they're worried about the what ifs, or they spend a lot of time secret squirrel planning in the background but don't take action. And doing things that don't matter just waste time. The things that matter are your big picture vision, the communication with your team, and creating an experience for your clients. Everything else is just surface level stuff. And I remember talking to a lady who had spent 6 months designing her logo. 6 months! If that's not a procrastination strategy, I don't know what is. So what are you going to do? Focus on those small details or things that are going to waste time? Or are you going to focus on the things that truly matter? And that's creating time for you to figure out your purpose and your why and translating that into a message that counts. How are we going to do this? Well, the first step is to define your vision. And like I said before, Simon Sinek has a quote that people won't buy what you do. They will buy why you do it. And I highly recommend reading the book as well. Start with why. But essentially your vision is your why. Your vision is your big picture on a mission to do these things. And for me, it's empowering leaders. And when you have that why, when you have that solid sense of, it's a deep sense of certainty, you have that sustainability in your energy because of that passion and that purpose. So I spring out of bed 4 out of 5 times a week. We'll have that one time where I don't. That's also fine. And because I'm so committed to empowering leaders, I just know that I'm excited about my day even before it started. So make sure that your why, your vision, is something that really lights you up. Something that's going to anchor you to getting out of bed to say, okay, today is going to be a great day because I know what I'm doing. I know that it's important for me to show up. Really get emotionally engaged with your why. And the way that I do this is to visualize, because I'm a very visual person, is to visualize me achieving my why. And there's so many aspects to coming up with your why. And I just ask you to take the time, because we need to create space to be able to connect with ourselves so that we can connect with our why. And in your booklet, you'll see that there is a space there for your vision, and taking some time to really look at that, it really makes a huge difference in your energy and the way that you're showing up. So what are you taking away from this? What's one thing that has really stood out to you? Maybe write down an action point, something that you can do that will help you to put that into action. Great. So let's jump on to the second point. The second point is your mission. Now, your mission is how you achieve the why. And your mission is the thing that is going to rally the troops. I love the quote, if you're on a mission, people will follow you. If you don't have a mission, you're just going for a walk. And you've got to have a how you are going to achieve your vision. So make sure that how is the experience that you want your clients to have. How are you going to make them feel, or how are you going to bring them towards the vision? What is the differentiation strategy that you have that's going to mean that they choose you and only you? What mission is that? And the how might take a little bit more refining, because the why is easy, but how you do it is going to mean that you can bring everyone on board. And if you do this, if you have a really solid how, then you will be able to create new products. You'll be able to innovate. You'll be able to have clarity around the way that you want to do it, which is your mission. The next one is your values. And by the way, I know that this is a lot of information, but you've got the workbook there. So just keep on working through the workbook and coming back to it every now and again to refine it. And normally this would be a 3-day workshop that I would do with my clients on each section, the vision, the mission, and the values. So reach out if you really want to do a one-on-one session with me. We can always do that in our coaching program. This is a brief overview so that you can do it on your own. So your values are The values are the spine. The values are the non-negotiables. It's the attitude. The values are the things that you want to bring into focus in order to achieve the mission and the vision. There's a frame in NLP, which is, NLP is neuro-linguistic programming, which is what I'm trained in. And the frame is that, it's like, that's right. What we focus on, we get, to the exclusion of everything else. I'm going to say it again because I really like it. What we focus on, we get, to the exclusion of everything else. And I'll unpack why this is so important. Is because our mind is taking in so much information all at once. There's thousands of bits of information that could be coming in. So the job of our brain is to sort this information into chunks, into categories, and store it in our mind. But what happens is that it deletes and distorts information so that it can fit it into a category. And there's a lot more I could go into here. But essentially what's happening is you have filters, and your mind filters in the things that you focus on. And those are the values. So the values are the things that you want to focus on that are going to help you achieve your mission and your vision. Is it, for example, one of mine is lifelong learning? Or is your value something that is really unique to you and that's really important, and that's the filter that you want to see life through? So, for example, one of my other ones is fun with a little bit of quirk. Because who doesn't love to be a bit quirky? And that is what I see life through. And it helps me achieve my mission of getting people out of their shells, of empowering leaders to lead, of helping people to fight the status quo so that they can stand out and be the leader that dares to lead. All of these filters are really important for the way that we show up in business. They're also a very key factor for how we can give feedback to our team. So it's okay that you have your values. Your values are your values, and they become the business values. And we can do a little bit of a technique as well that helps you to identify what your values are if you need some clarity around them. Because it's like a roadmap to who you are. It's a roadmap to decide or distinguish what you don't do in your business. And when you've got your values really clear, then it creates that momentum. They're the things that you do every single day that's going to help you achieve your mission and your vision. Those are the consistent things that we must do. We must live daily so that we know that we're taking those small steps towards our outcomes. And I know that this is a lot of information, but you're doing really, really well. Just want to acknowledge you for showing up for yourself. And if your mind's being blown right now, that's okay. We will unpack this in the group coaching. We'll unpack this in the one-to-one sessions in more detail. And you've, of course, got your workbook there to work through. So maybe just write down a few key takeaways and things that you've really loved about this message. And we'll be in touch shortly. Bye for now.